Hi, we have Mark Kauffman with us, who is the technical lead PA at Parsons Brinckerfoff. Thank you for being with us, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
So, can you tell us more about Parsons Brinckerfoff?
Parsons Brinckerfoff is a global infrastructure and engineering services management company. And we're actually based here in the United States, but we have offices throughout the entire world.
Okay, and what is your expertise and the markets you are targeting?
Well, we do primarily transportation, but we also do water and power. We have an urban planning division, and we also do a lot of project management work as well.
Okay. Can you describe your job?
As a technical lead, basically I'm the chief geek for the project management team, or the project visualization team. My job is to maintain and administer all the technical aspects of production. We do computer animation and visualizations for several different projects for PV. And so basically I'm the one who goes through and makes sure that all the technical aspects of the production is done correctly, any problems are overcome, and that's basically what I do.
Okay. So what are the Autodesk products that you use today?
Well, our group, because of its very nature, we work with everything. PB is a subscription customer, so basically we have every single Autodesk product out there. And even though the different groups are working with just Inventor or just AutoCAD or just Civil, we actually work with all the projects or products. The thing about us, though, is we do have one primary product that we work with. It's called 3ds Max.
3ds Max, okay.
3ds Max is our primary. We also use an application called Navisworks, which we use for 4D simulation. And
Navis or Novice?
Navisworks.
Navisworks, okay.
Exactly. We also use Autodesk Civil 3D. And we also use a product called Toxic, which sounds a little strange, but it's a digital compositing system that we use, very similar to what companies like Industrial Light and Magic use to do compositing movies together, because we do a lot of the same kind of work. So.
And they named it Toxic.
Toxic, exactly. And another one called Combustion, which is its junior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. So you told me earlier that you are also a charter customer for Project Newport. And so what is Project Newport, and what is your involvement as a charter customer?
Well, Project Newport is kind of a new product into the market. Basically, it's a real-time 3D presentation environment. The developers use this wonderful tagline. I think they once said it's a game engine for architects. Well, with the game engine, it's a very complex system, but Newport is kind of the opposite. It's a very simple, easy-to-use environment for presenting three-dimensional models, architectural models. In our case, a lot of large infrastructure planning projects, highways, subways, other similar systems like that.
And it's presented in real time?
Exactly.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so much of the technology's changed. You think about all these wonderful game engines that they have for these video games out there. They say the technology can work just as well for everyday presentations. It's interesting how the market has changed so much for us. We started doing photo simulations, which are still renderings, working up to animations, getting more into the theatrical movie-style animations. And now we're getting into more real-time presentations, because a lot of our projects are getting to this point where they need to be able to look at an aspect, a design aspect of the project, and be able to review it from different angles and being able to see it within context of the location and all the buildings around it, and even things like trees and people and cars and all those other things that we don't, we take for granted. So many of our customers are government entities. So like Caltrans in California, working with the Doyle Drive project, they have to work with the city, the Presidio Trust. Then they have to work with Caltrans, the engineers. So the engineers, you have political, social networks that all have to kind of come together. And a lot of times it can be a very dragged out process. Having something that allows them to see something interactively, quickly, makes it a lot more effective, especially in the planning phase, to make sure you don't spend $2 billion and not do it the right way. You want to do it, or the wrong way. You want to do it the right way and be on time and on budget.
And to see the problems in the very beginning, too, if there are any. So, makes sense. So which projects have you been using Newport for?
Well, I just mentioned one, the Doyle Drive project. That's one of our biggest projects. In fact, it's kind of a groundbreaking project in the sense that almost the entire project is being designed and developed in 3D. A lot of times everything is done traditional 2D CAD and everything, and we're working with so many different agencies. We have a partner, Arup, Parsons, Brinckerfoff, of course, and then Caltrans is our other partner on the project. And having all this data interchange between the two, it's very interesting. But we've actually gone through, taken all those 2D drawings, modeled them in 3D, and developing these models to render out pretty animations, as well as generate real engineering accurate models for Navisworks, and then presenting a lot of these things using Newport as a way to be able to show the client, in this case the Presidio Trust, City of San Francisco, how the project works, what it's going to look like, different design alternatives. What is this lamp pole going to look like? What is the light going to look like? How does this signage block this view? You know, we have the Palace of Fine Arts down over there. You want to make sure it looks good in relation to the structures that they're putting in. Another project we worked on is a project in Denver, where I'm from. And there's a couple of pedestrian bridges they want to put up in I-25 in Denver. And of course, what we used Newport for was to look at several different design alternatives and to be able to communicate with the customer, in this case the City of Denver, who was footing the bill for this thing, looking at the different design alternatives, putting people in there, you know, down to something as simple as people walking across the bridge and cars going, so they're not seeing in something more in real time that they can move around, not just this canned thing. Well, here's a picture. Well, what does it look like from this side? Exactly. It's the nice thing about a real-time environment is it gives you this ability to view it from so many different angles and be able to change things out and again and analyze it from several different perspectives, contextually as well as, you know, specific things. What color is it going to be? How tall is it?
Well, I can't help but think how exciting it must be for all the people who are coming to see this for the first time, whether it's right or not, or their problems, to be leaving and be very excited because they can relate to it. And that's great. So what is the difference between Newport and 3ds Max?
That's a good question. Actually, they're very much a synergistic product line. So Max and Newport work very well together. But Max, think of it as the content creation, the actual building of the models, adding the textures. While Newport can do some of those things, Newport is more of the content presentation application. So one's a content creation, one's more of a content presentation, but again, they're very synergistic. You can't really have one without the other. You have to get content into Newport, and Max is good for doing stills, but not good for doing interactive real-time environments.
Got it. All right. And I think you answered the last question. So thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being with us.